Welcome back to Sharing Your Stories. Today, I'm bringing you a very interesting, let's say, corporate woman. I have met multiple corporate women over my life, especially during my experience in Poland. But today, I'm bringing you to Francesca Granchelli, who is a corporate woman in Ericsson in Spain. She had a fantastic career. She became a mother of two daughters. And beyond that, she became even a product manager. She's an engineer, and she also wanted to discover more about the space. But maybe Francesca can tell us a little bit about her story, how she became the successful woman in the corporate world, and how she managed to have two daughters at the same time.
Hello, here I am. Well, I don't know where to start from. Maybe I can share with you, my life has always been driven by what I consider are my passions. So since being a small kid, I have had passion for technology. I really get excited about um, new technologies and the discoveries. I have sort of soul of I like inventors. I like everything new, and for me, all those things create a lot of fascination. And as a small kid, I have my dream that was to become an astronaut. Um, but I was reflecting the reason for that, and recently I came to the conclusion because back then I was fan of a series that was named Space 1999, and they have all sort of technology advancements showcased there. And for a small kid like I was, it was like, oh wow. And I grew my dream of flying among planets and stars and being in a spaceship. Um, when I grew up, I realized that there were some limitations for me to get on that career, and but I wanted to stay close to space and to explorations and to that kind of life. And I decided to study engineering because my dream was to be working in Cape Canaveral as in mission control stuff. So that was what brought me to study engineering, to have the possibility eventually, to work in the space science. But yeah, it didn't uh, develop as I dreamt. And then the more rational part of me took over, and I considered that okay, let's get a job, normal job, classical job. Also because as I grew up, I considered that for me it was fundamental to have a family, to to g- to have my kids, to grow up them, and to support them through their development. So I was reflecting that if I wanted to follow just my dreams, eventually that would have ended up me being unable to have a family. And for me, kids, I always loved kids since I was myself as a kid. When I was 10, I was taking care of smaller kids, the ones like 2, 3 years old. So that was always part of me. And that's the main reason, why I decided to just get a normal job in the industry. And I started to work in Italy, and the company, which is now Vodafone Italy, back then was a startup. Um, and well, okay, it was not as I expected. I came out from the university. I mean, not everyone, but I'm sure there's a lot of people like me that they decided to choose one university, one branch of study because they like it. So I mostly enjoyed my studies. I mean, mm, I was not just getting the exams to go on to the next. I was taking them because most of the time I loved them. And actually, I came out with the highest score. And so when I started to work, I have this expectation that I was going to be able to use the skills that I've developed. And it was really frustrating to realize that that was not the case, And it took me several years to surrender to the fact that in reality, all my studies were, maybe just a tool for me to be capable of finding solution to complex problem, rather than being the exact skills that I was going to use, when doing my job. But yeah, nevertheless, it caused quite a lot of frustration. And especially when I was young, I remember that, I was not missing any opportunity to complain about the fact that, I was even once telling to the CTO to Vodafone Italy, we had an open talk with all employees, and he was asking for questions, and back then I was really not thinking about consequences. So I raised my hand, and then he said, okay, please, I don't remember which was the question, but something about, if you're happy with your job or something like that. And then I raised my hand and said, no, I'm completely unhappy. And I said, I was working in network planning. So if you think about it, network planning deploying the radio base station across Italy and then connecting all the traffic fluxes. And, I mean, it was not like I was doing nothing, but once you do that job once, then the next time is just repetitive. You just change some figures, but then the process is the same, and you just do the same all over and over. And I complained to the CDO, saying that if that's the work that you need to be done, that can be done by just programming a computer to do it. I can do the programming. I can make everything so that's automatic. But as an engineer, I do not want to do that same job over and over again. And everyone was looking at me like, oh, you crazy? But okay, that's the part of the frustration. And then in one of my business trip, I met a Spanish man, and yeah, we were doing well together. We had a lot of fun, and after 18 months, we got married, and I moved to Spain. And in Spain, I came here without. Well, I had maybe the possibility to work in Vodafone Spain, and that I tried that option, but it didn't work out. And so I started just, seeking for me a job. And the reason for me to move to Spain is that in Italy, I was really working 12 hours a day at least, and it was taking all my time. And I considered that if I was going to get married and wanted to develop my family, uh, that long hours were not being good for me to achieve my objective. So, and in Spain, my husband, he was working hard, but normal working hours, 8 hours. And then I said, okay, why not try to move to Spain? Eventually, it's going to be better than what I have in Italy. And yeah, I mean, it was just a friend of my husband. I met him, and he said, oh, have you got a job? I said, oh, not yet, I'm still searching. And he said, oh, I know Ericsson is hiring people, why don't you try there? And that's how I entered Ericsson. I was not even thinking, um, I didn't really know the business landscape in Spain. The only thing which I knew was that I needed to work in an international company, because when I moved to Spain, I didn't speak any Spanish, and I could hardly understand. So I was almost able to read something, but of course, I was. It was clear to me that I could not work for Telefonica or for any local company, because for me, the language was a terrific barrier. And then, okay, Ericsson came. I said, okay, why not? And sent CV, and in less than a month, I was in the company. And yeah, I mean, I moved from Italy to Madrid with, and it was just my husband and myself, because he doesn't have family in Madrid. He's from south of Spain, so it was a bit of an adventure, the two of us. And yeah, in the beginning, even just to go to the grocery, I was not going alone. I needed my husband to come with me, and we were sharing the same vision. He also was, of course, keen on getting a family, and sooner that planned. I mean, you never plan about these things. You're just open to have kids, but you never know when they're going to come, if it will take 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, or if you can have kids, or if you can't. You don't know. So we were just open to that. And I became pregnant much earlier than, let's say, what would have been maybe a wise thing to do. And things were like, even just to visit the doctor to follow up my pregnancy, my husband needed to come with me because I couldn't speak Spanish. So he was the only man that was waiting, in the waiting room for pregnant women. It was sort of fun experience, fun and scared. Actually, when I realized I was pregnant, I was happy, but probably the first feeling was being scared. I was really scared, because I said, oh, wow. I mean, I wanted kids, but not that soon. But okay, life is you cannot predict everything. You cannot plan everything. So you just have to take it as it goes. And yeah, I mean, I had very short break after I delivered my baby, and in less than 4 months, I was back to work, and it was not easy. However, um, I mean, yeah, it was a lot of sleepless nights. There were the first months that I came back to work, I believe that I was getting like 4 or 5 cups of coffee, because my daughter was not sleeping at night, and it was very hard. And I was working as project manager, and the situation also had gone a little bit more difficult in Ericsson. There was, after the year 2000, with the you remember the dot-com companies, there was that terrific downturn in all the technology sector. So also Ericsson experienced a lot of layoffs. And the people like me who were lucky enough to keep working, our workload grew substantially. So at that time, I had many projects that I was supposed to manage, and being sleepless and with a lot of workload was clearly not a good tandem. But okay, that's the good part when you're still young. You have more reasons than what you think. Yeah, and soon after, we considered that we needed to give our daughter a brother or a sister, and we went for it. And so less than 2 years after, I was having my second daughter. And yeah, I mean, clearly during that period of time, my career was very much on the side, because my kids were getting all the energy from me. So I really was not, let's say, seeking for any sort of improvement or anything like that. I just was trying to manage to keep everything up and running, but there was no possibility for anything else than just, basic work. So what I discovered at that time was that the frustration that I had experienced before I had my kids, because the work that I was doing was not satisfactory from, let's say, my, intellectual perspective, was not giving me what I wanted. But then the difference was that I realized that my priority number one were my kids. Then overall my family. So the work transformed into a mean to get my family to flourish, to have. The frustration that I had in the work became less, not because anything changed positively on that side, but simply because I had my main goal, and I was completely up to that one goal. That was my kids and my family. So the reflection was that, often people think that, when you hear those people that do not find any satisfaction in anything that they do, is often because they do not have any highest goal in their life. So whatever they do is, it's not fulfilling, but once you have some responsibilities, and you have people that are depending on you, the landscape, completely changes, because now you set your priorities, what's important for you, and then you put. Also, because, when you're working, sometimes you might get disappointed at something, or imagine even you might have, I don't know, failure in something that you're doing, or you might have some project doing wrong, and you get very stressed, about all those things. But then when you look at things into perspective, you realize that, as also a friend of mine, Swedish person, tells me often, Francesca, this is just a job. And I believe that even if we always have to strive to do the best, and in our work we need to be professional, but we should never change the work for our life. So our life is one thing, and the work is part of the life, but it's not our life. So we need to put things into perspective, and if something goes wrong in your work life, but what's most important is that you're able to keep things right in your personal life, also because work, they are not your family. And when crises are showing up, the companies, even if they are good employers, like Ericsson is a good employer, but they will end up laying off people. No matters, how good person you have been, or how much contribution to the company you have done. So you need to have it clear in your mind what matters most in your life. And that has been, a discovery for me that happened only after I had my family. But okay, for other people can be different things. Can be some other passions that they have, and that are, priority number one. In my case, it was that one, my family. And yes, looking back now that I'm 56, soon 57, and I look on, in the org chart, considering that I didn't have anyone supporting me. I came to Spain without anyone being able to help me, without speaking the language. So, if I look back, I have been more now 24 years almost in Ericsson. I cannot say that I didn't progress. I believe, I had quite a good career. I had to change job many, many times, many, many times. I believe I have been having in Ericsson like 24 years, 12 different jobs in many different positions. And so I had to reinvent myself many, many times, because, if you want to be able to get through all the crises, you need to be very flexible. You need to be very adaptable. You need to develop a lot of skills. What helped me a lot was my curiosity and my desire to learn. So even when doing one job, I was always learning about something else, simply because the fact that I was not feeling satisfied in the work that I was doing was also my need for continuing to learn new things was satisfied by studying. So I kept on studying or developing myself in other area from an educational perspective, because that was still feel for me, okay, I still feel that I am an engineer, not just a manager or like now in a director position. I wanted to keep my technical skills more or less on par with what's happening, because otherwise, how I can claim myself to be an engineer if I'm unable to speak about the new techs. So and that also helped me to craft my my career, because given that I continue to develop skills, then I was able to get jobs in other areas that I would have never considered, to work on, and that helped me, to keep my job. So okay, all in all, looking back at my whole career, I should say that I was successful. I mean, also because considering that my kids, as I said, are number one priority, I never really aspire to have very, very high position. For me, being an executive in a company is so demanding. I mean, basically, you have to give up on your personal life. You're traveling a lot, you are busy, the full week. I don't even think that you can disconnect when you have some holidays. And you might be extremely rich, you might be visiting a lot of nice places, but you basically miss entirely your personal life. And in Italy we have an expression that when someone is doing something extremely tough, busy, and that's consuming all the time, we say that I wouldn't even like to be the socks of that person. It means that I don't think that they are enjoying life more than I'm enjoying. I mean, even though they are moving in, high ranks, they meet presidents, they meet, a lot of important person. But yeah, I mean, I do not think that that is the reality, but I feel mostly, from my perspective, that life is miserable. So I never wanted to get too high, because and it is not like because I didn't manage. I never really wanted, Also in the position that I'm now, I would have option to get one level up, and I don't want. I really don't want, because that would be dragging, myself into things that I'm not really interested in. So from that perspective, I believe that I achieved a lot, and I only have to be thankful to myself, which also makes me feeling a lot, really proud. Additionally, because I entered the job market at a time that women in tech didn't have the, let's say now we have a lot of diversity and inclusion talks. So there's a lot of politics to get more female in the tech industry. At my time, it was the opposite. Actually, in my first interview in Spain, the first question that I was asked after I declared that I was married was, "And do you plan to have kids?" And my answer was, "Yes, I do. That's why I got married." And I told, and then they said it was like, they were like shocked, and they said, "But okay, so what?" I said, "Okay, just if you have a job which doesn't require me to travel around the world, that I can fit in your ranks, I'm happy. Otherwise, I'll take another job." So, now I'm happy. I mean, it is nice. Also, I have daughters to see that words has changed, and now there's much more openness and there's much more inclusiveness. But as I said, back then was not like that. So whatever I achieved was not because there was a quota to fulfill. It was because I did it myself, it was because I was worth it. So that makes me feel proud. And on the other hand, now that my daughters are at the university, then I still have dream to eventually be able to do something valuable, uh, not just for myself, but now I would like to start finding something that's fulfilling me as a person in what I can contribute to the society. I don't know how things will unfold, but still I have a hope because I feel good. I feel energetic, and sooner or later I will get laid off by Ericsson, like that's happened to my colleagues. So yeah, I have the sort of plan B. That's try a different pathway, go on to something else, because now I do not feel any longer the pressure that I need to get money for my family to progress, to have stability, to have a good house and all those kind of things. So now that I have a bit less of pressure than before, I believe, I'm open. And I still feel that I can contribute to something. I was having a lot of ideas, sometimes I was exploring to contribute to some organization with even NGOs type of things. But then, also there I got a bit of disillusionment. There's a lot of fake good things happening on the surface, and then in the end in the back end is just business. So I don't know. I will figure it out. But still I have a bit of hope that I can do something valuable that I will give me that sense of fulfillment in the future.
I have another question, Francesca. What can you advise to the current generations? Because you were able to manage to have a family and to have a career. And we can see that people are having fewer families, or if they have them, and they are relatively very late. What would you advise to the newer generation, especially that this is just not happening anymore?
Firstly, you always need to consider that whatever decision, whatever things you're going to do, you need to have doses of courage and be aware that you will have to sacrifice something. So, for example, I got my kids and I didn't have time any longer to go to gym. We didn't have time to go and have dinner or lunch or, things with friends, because working and growing up kids, uh, requires all your dedication. Then kids, they get sick, you have to take care of them. It means that you need to be aware that things will happen, and you need to be consequent with your decisions, So if you want to have a family requires commitment. So you need to commit and to devote all your energy towards your goal, and nothing comes, for free. Everything has a price, but also then the reward is important, because you have having kids, of course, you see them growing, and of course they will also bring you problems, a lot of headaches, worrisome for, things that will happen to them. But it gives sense to your life. So I believe that it's worth it. It's completely worth it, because even as a couple, even if with my husband we really deal along well, but when you have something in common which is so strong, it also makes the ties with your partner stronger, because you are really sharing, you have a common project. That common project is your kids. But you need to be aware that, for example, you will have to park your career for a period of time, until your kids are at an age that, that you can start to manage a little bit better your life. I was back to the gym when my elder daughter was 6. And, the way that we were doing that, I was preparing them the dinner. They were having dinner, then I was going to gym late at night, and my husband was putting them in bed. So, and we were sharing, and then when he was also back to practice sport, sometimes, we were driving our daughters back and forth not to leave them alone at home at any moment. And we were just exchanging, I was practicing sports and he was at home, and the opposite. I mean, it's a lot of, firstly, you need to be generous. You need to be generous with your partner, with the people, you cannot, you need to know that life will be different afterwards. You need to know that even if you're sleepless, next day you're going to work, and you cannot tell your boss, sorry, I had a terrible headache because I didn't sleep. That's your problem, You go to office and you have to work, and even though for sure you're, you will not be that good in your daily work, but you need to put all your effort. And we were trying to recover a little bit over the weekends. Also during holidays, our holidays were just visiting family, and the main objective when we were visiting family was sleeping. We wanted to get someone taking care of our daughters so that we could get a bit of sleep. So there's a lot that you give up when you take certain decision. So what mother says, that you need to expect that certain things will bring changes in your life. And even if you don't know the size of those changes, you need to be open to accept those changes, to adapt, to be flexible, and but still to keep all your commitments. It is not like, oh, I'm so tired, and you complain and you get depressed. No. You have to fight for. It's everything is will change in the future. Kids are not going to be newborn forever. They will grow up. Sometimes, they will be big kids, and so the bad moments will all the bad moments will be passing at a point in time. So, but you need to be resilient. I believe, maybe this is the things, flexibility, resiliency, and commitment. I believe, those are the things. And never think, oh, how unlucky I am. No, life is life. We all have our sort of, good moments and bad moments. And if at the moment in time you are in a, you have some drawbacks, okay, keep moving, keep working, keep pushing, keep trying hard. At the moment in time, things will balance again, and you will be in a positive moment. So never give up, and keep fighting, keep trying, and things will resolve. Even though, one thing also happened to me, that sometimes I was trying to get into a job, and I was trying hard to get into that, and I was not successful. But then unexpectedly, I was offered a different job, which I would have never considered. But okay, it came, and for various reason, I was eventually forced to take that opportunity. And that opportunity ended up being much better than the thing that I have tried myself to achieve. So also sometimes, it is not that you don't have to try, because you always have to strive, if you're not happy, trying to do something to change it. But then sometimes, life also brings you in areas that maybe are unknown territories that you would have not even considered, but maybe those are turning up being better for you. So you need also to be open, to embrace change and not to be scared about, okay, but oh, no, this is not for me. As long as you are willing to, put all your effort to learn, things will work out, in the end, things will work out, and the results might be very positive for you. So I believe, also this, this openness to change and, not being scared about things.
So are we going to see you as the new director of the European Space Station soon, Francesca, or as an astronaut there?
Too old for that. I'm too old for that. But yeah, I mean, I'm big fan, not of the man per se, but I'm a big fan of Elon Musk, of course. And when I watch the first Falcon that was able to get the rockets back landing on Earth without going missed or exploding in the air, for me was, I mean, such an emotion. I mean, it was like, wow. I mean, it's terrific. So I have my doses of space, just following up on all the developments that Elon Musk is doing in that area. Yeah, I mean, among my dreams, I went to Cape Canaveral once. I visited the base. Back then was, I mean, it was more than 25 years ago. So it was just the NASA, 100% NASA. But now, a lot of those facilities are entirely used by Elon Musk. He landed them, rented for 20 years. So yeah, I mean, as wish list, I would like to be back to Cape Canaveral, or maybe now to the new bases that they have in Texas. And I'd really like to be there as public and watch live one of those launches. I believe, to get back again that feelings and that emotion. I believe, I mean, when you hear the sounds of a rocket that is leaving Earth, oh wow, for me that's terrific, nice experience. So, but no, I mean, yeah, you have time for everything, and that time for me is over. But okay, I don't regret, decision that I've made. I mean, if when I was young, um, I would have had the possibility to move and get a job in the US, work at NASA or as European Space Agency. But there was no internet. Even when I wanted to get a job, I back then we needed to buy a book. There was a book with all the addresses of the companies, and then you needed to send letters, physical letters to all the companies to send your CV. There was not the facilities that we have nowadays. So okay, I believe I did my best with the tools that I have, with the limited support that I have. Okay, that was my life. And yeah, I mean, mm, still I can contribute, but I don't think that it surely will not be in that way. My contribution will be on a different level.
Who knows, maybe Elon Musk will listen to you and he will hire you to work for SpaceX. Life is unexpected.
I checked that. Believe me, I did that. I checked that. But to work at SpaceX, you need to be U.S. citizen, because working in the space industry has a lot of do with national security. So you need to have security clearance, and the first, let's say, thing that you have to comply is to be U.S. citizen. So again, there's a few a few things there, but yeah, if we had opened something here in Europe, maybe, yeah, let's say 8 years ago, that when I checked about SpaceX openings, I would have tried, because I believe that there's nothing more rewarding than to work in a project that you feel proud about it. And when I have been watching the crowd that is supporting every rocket launch, you can feel how enthusiastic they are. They really love it. And I mean, as I said, in the beginning, I I loved what I studied. So I'm not an engineer because engineering was going to give me a work. I did engineering because I like it, you know. So I'm those kind of people that would for sure enjoy to be in those situations. I mean, for me, it would have been terrific emotion to see, you know, something that I have helped to develop or to control that makes it to the space, and you know, then the rockets are coming back and the mission is working. Wow, for me that would have been, you know, most enormous satisfaction ever. But okay, anyway, it would have been a moment, you know. But those moments, those are kind of epic moments, and sometimes we need to live some epic moments to keep moving, to keep going on. I believe passion is important to drive your life, you know. And in the end, you need to be passionate, because otherwise it's all plain, it's all same, you know. There's nothing that gives you satisfaction. So yeah, I'm happy, you know, that I have these passions.
And if you could advise one last thing to the audience, what would it be, Francesca?
Hmm. Well, one thing that often people told me is that no matter what, because we all have our problems, but in general, I'm a positive person, and when even in meetings with people, I often smile, you know, and that helps also other people to feel relaxed and to be easy to work with. And I believe, you know, but also when you go wherever you go to supermarket, or you go to shop, or you go to the airport. I mean, if you are kind to people, not because you pretend to behave like that, you know, but because you are really kind to people, because that's the way you are, uh, that will opens you much more doors than being angry to the world and being always upset, you know. I mean, I learned to be kind. I learned to be smiling because I was a very shy kid, and I was always afraid of everyone, you know. Whoever was telling me something, I was always suspicious. But as I grew up, I learned about, you know, being kind to the people helps you in your life, and also helps the people, you know, because I was sometimes thinking, even, you know, you go to places that people are doing repetitive jobs all the time, and maybe they have not that much opportunity to talk with other people, you know, because yeah, I don't know. Again, you know, supermarket. You go to the supermarket, the poor people that are there, uh, that are passing your articles and producing your bill. You know, they are just there. Imagine sitting 8 hours. They see a lot of people passing by, and no one eventually tells them, "Hey, hello, how are you doing?" Or, you know, shares something. I believe in the possibility that we are given. We always need to try to be kind to people, whatever the people they are, you know. Um, and also that there's no, I mean, we are all same. There's no differences if I have had higher studies, or, you know, in the world, we are the way that everything is built, you know, is like an engine. Every small pieces count, you know, no matter what you're doing. And then every profession is equally valuable to the society. And, you know, I should not feel arrogant and feel better than other people just because, oh, because I'm an engineer. Oh, I mean, you know, okay, I was lucky, you know, I'm gifted for maths and for physics, and I could develop myself as an engineer. But, you know, when I go to the restaurant and there's a waiter that's bringing me my lunch, that person is has same dignity as I have, you know. I'm not a better person than that. We just do different jobs, but okay. There's it is not because of something that I did better than them. And also, as I said, you know, we need all the types of jobs. So we should all be respectful with everyone, be kind to everyone, as I was saying before, because we are all equal, and we are just part of a bigger project, and every small drops counts. So I will not be doing greater things for the society, but if I can contribute with a small drop, still probably will be valuable at the very end. So yeah, I believe being kind, being good to people, and never considering that because you cannot achieve great things, your contribution is not valuable, because we all matters, and we all make our support to the rest of the society. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Francesca, and thank you for everything that you share with us. Hopefully, we'll see more engineers like you, or we will see you one day as the director of the European Space Agency. Who knows? Life is
Thank you.
unexpected.
Thank you, Federico. Thanks a lot for the interview. Bye bye.
Bye bye.